Hello, and welcome back to the Fae Banner Review, where we talk about the scariest time of the year, playing heroes. Wait, that's every part of the year. Today, we have a brand new Halloween banner featuring dragons, beasts, and a non-dragon or beast unit. They're really shaking up the formula with this one, and as per tradition, I will be using this coveted line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day to rank the brand new Halloween banner. However, it has come to my attention that the understandability of the line graph is not as clear as it could be, which is why I'll be introducing the circle graph that may or may not be a circle at the end of the day alongside it, which may or may not be a bent version of the original line graph. I shall now be ranking banners on both graphs using the same ranking system. And speaking of which, today's rankings will be based on how many Tellius characters in the series IS remembered existed. And make sure you remember to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content like this. Thank you, I really appreciate it. First up, we have Nerthuz, and she's dressed up as, a woman. Ooh! Honestly, I don't know what she's supposed to be dressed up as, but she kinda looks like a bride, I think. I don't think the Meet the Heroes page knows either, so I'm just gonna move on. Let's see. Nerthuz comes with Glee of the Land, which is a beast stone without slang, actually. It grants speed 3 instead, as well as 5 attack and speed, a special jump of 1, and potent follow X to any ally within 3 rows or columns of Nerthuz. She herself gets a bunch of stats during combat, upwards of 25 true damage based on her special cooldown count times 5, 15 true damage reduction based on the same condition times 3, a special jump of 1 before her first attack, post-combat healing based on the same condition, potent follow X, X being based on the same special condition, times 40 if they can't make a follow-up attack or hit twice, or times 20 for everyone else up to potent follow 100, and she gets all the Beast Cavalry goodies. She also comes with a PRF B slot in Moonlit Slumber, which grants Canto remaining +1. It eases the transformation condition, including for Aether's defense. She gives out the 50% damage reduction piercing status to herself and allies, and inflicts speed and defense shackle on the closest foes and for foes within 2 spaces at the start of the turn. She inflicts some debuffs on the foe during combat. She gets full no follow-up, 20% speed-based true damage and damage reduction, and damage reflection. Okay, I know they keep printing Reflex, but for what it's worth, she did debut with it first. I'll excuse it here. Also, in the twist of fate, her weapon text is longer than her PRF skills text. We are so back. But yeah, as far as her own combat is concerned, it seems fine. It has true damage reduction, and other effects that aren't true damage or true damage reduction. Honestly, I think I'm more interested in their support than I am her combat, because with her weapon and PRF skill, she gives out like 5 to 6 things. Potent follow, special jumps, defense and speed shackle, damage reduction piercing, and some attack and speed is pretty nice. That said, I'm not sure if it's worthwhile enough on its own, but at least she could do more than that. She has 3 layers of true damage reduction in her kit, which is insane. There aren't a lot of units that get that much true damage reduction, I think. Maybe? At least for now, right? The 2 layers of true damage and damage reflection also make her damage output really great, especially since she has the range to back it up too. She's probably better than I'm letting on at the moment. Or maybe she's not. Either way, getting a copy can only be so bad. She'll find a purpose somewhere, especially since her fodder is pretty good too. Or maybe it's not. Nerthuz also comes with attack speed prime, which is a bit past its prime. You know, because it's named Prime. Gale Force Mist, which is a bit past its Mist. You know, because it's named Gale Force Mist. Bruh. Okay, so she actually comes with Attack and Speed Excel, which is fine. Yep, sure is. And she comes with Attack Speed Bellow, which is just Attack Speed Outcry Dull, except it grants Breath instead of Dull. Okay, maybe this one is a bit past its prime. It's not a bad skill, but I don't think I would take it over Outcry Dull at least. Although I guess it depends on the unit, but there's probably more cases where Dull comes up than Breath. But Outcry Dull is also locked to seasonals that aren't on a banner currently, so I guess beggars can't be choosers. Never mind, Fur is still here. They could choose as much as they want. I guess they won't be outcrying over that one, huh? Okay, the fodder is fine. It's just nothing crazy. And other than that, that sure is Nerthuz. She doesn't seem too bad, but I'm not sure if she does anything super worthwhile. Potent, special jump, and shackle support is very solid, and her combat is nice too, but I don't feel like she does anything so good in either role. Still, I can see her doing decent enough work overall, but not someone you really need to grab. That said, if you need a bulkier initiator with decent support, then she's your gal. And if you don't need that, then she's not your gal. She's your goat. Next, there's Peony, and she's dressed up like a pumpkin, which is definitely a lot more festive. and actually recognizable. She's even got a little ghost friend with her. Got anything to say, little bud?
Don't forget to oil up.
That's nice. Let's see. Peony comes with Spooky Lantern, which is a cancel remaining blue tome that grants 3 visible speed, grants allies within 3 rows and columns 5 attack and speed, penalty neutralization, 10 true damage, and 7 HP after combat. She herself gets a bunch of stats during combat, 10 true damage, 10 true damage reduction, and full no follow-up. She also comes with a PRF Dance in Pleasant Night, which gives an ally another action, re-enables their Canto, and grants Visible Spectrum 5, Reflex, and Empathy to the target ally and any ally that are in cardinal directions of her and the target ally. Okay, I know they keep printing Reflex, but for what it's worth, she didn't debut with it. They really cannot get enough of this status. At the very least, it is very strong, so I guess why not, right? That being in tandem with Empathy, True Damage, Penalty Neutralization, and some stats is pretty solid overall. Also, it being able to spread to allies is a really nice addition. The closest comparisons here would probably have to be with Legendary Ninian and Spring Plumeria. Both of them have Canto Refresh, but Ninian also gives out Potent and Treachery. They are a bit weaker, but she could also enter combat really reliably. And Spring Plumeria, who inflicts Frozen and has a dance button that can let her dance twice in one turn. Peony is different enough from the other two at the very least because of her reflex support and being named Peony. They're pretty huge differences, but it just depends on what you need out of a dancer right now. The others contribute different things, so she's not necessarily the de facto dancer per se. But if you don't own them, then I guess she is the de facto dancer. Never mind then.
Good morning.
Peony also comes with Defense Risk Cantrip 3 and Shadow Shove 4, and these skills are pretty decent. Shadow Shove is another line of shadow skills that generally offer pretty good positional utility. I'm sure it has its use cases, but I don't know if it's worth using over Smite in most cases, especially in Aether Raids where you could disable traps with it. The one less range does feel less enticing as a result, but it's hardly bad. And Defense Risk Cantrip 3? What's the opposite of hardly bad? It's fine, question mark asterisk, but at least it hits both defensive stats. It's probably not a skill you'll consider half the time given it only works on refreshers anyway, but it's not like they have many other options. It's either that or one of the outdated Dancer B slots, so I guess a better way of phrasing it would be, do you want trash or garbage? The answer is trash. It's always trash. And other than that, that sure is Peony. She's a cancel refreshing reflex support dancer. What else is there to say? She's very strong support and she'll have good mileage in every competitive mode. You really can't go wrong with a copy. Ooh! And then there's Skrimir, and he's the demote this time around, meeting our monthly armor quota. He's dressed up as, a guy holding a meat bone or something. I don't really know what I'm looking at here. He does look cool, at least. Let's see. Skrimir comes with Praying Fang, which is a slaying beast stone that grants 6 attack and defense, imbue, and breath to himself and allies at the start of the player phase and enemy phase. He gets a bunch of stats during combat, 20% defense-based true damage and true damage reduction. He gets an additional 20% defense-based true damage reduction when the foe triggers a special. He gets a special jump of 2 before the foe's first attack, and distant counter when he's transformed. That's not a bad PRF, actually. I wasn't expecting it to be super crazy, but what it does is pretty nice. Innate counter fighter, solid bonuses, well, 1 solid bonus. And he's a pretty min-maxed armor with a solid amount of survivability thanks to the 2 layers of true damage reduction. I really like it a lot. By free-to-play standards, listen, I can't say I'm whatever on Nerthuz while gassing this up more, please understand. Skrimir also comes with Ignis, Wily Fighter 4, and Attack Defense Far Save 3. This is awesome. You really can't go wrong with Wily Fighter 4 since dull with the existence of the Slick Fighter seal for null penalties is a really nice combination in general. And Attack Defense Farsave is also a really great choice because it lets you easily grab stuff like Briar and Twin Save from the codes and the free attuned Hector if you still have that one lying around. So even if you don't plan on using him, a singular copy can provide a good amount of value. Unless you don't build armors or have any pre-built ones. But if you're not one of those two things, then it's great. Even if 90% of armors are one of those two things, it's great. And other than that, that sure is Skrimir. Genuinely, he's not that bad at all. I won't go and say he's super duper crazy, but you could do so much worse as a demote. And because he's a beast armor, he's going to last a while for arena purposes. If you do need a good merge project, I think he might be worth it. Believe me, spending over 200 orbs to earn 1 extra orb a week from Arena is a really great return investment. Trust. And last on the banner, we have Freya and Ader, who are the duo this time around. It being an older and younger version of herself is pretty fun, and I do like, whatever they're supposed to be dressed up as, question mark. I've given up trying to figure out these costumes. Let's see. Freya comes with Nightmare Staff, and it's in fact not a staff. It's a Slaying colorless tome. It grants dodge to herself and inflicts -7 speed and res, sabotage, and the null miracle debuff on closest foes and foes within 2 spaces at the start of the turn. She gets a bunch of stats during combat, upwards of 16 extra attack based on the special cooldown count of her special ×4, 20% speed based true damage reduction, and she disables the foe's specials if she's faster than them. Freya also comes with a pure FB slot in Haunting Choker, which inflicts -5 spectrum on the foe, reduces their pierceable damage reduction by 50%, and reverses any visible stat bonus they may have within 3 rows and columns. She inflicts upwards of -12 speed and res on the foe during her own combat, gets full no follow-up, upwards of 60% pierceable damage reduction, upwards of 9 true damage reduction, and she gets 7 HP after combat, on top of a dual button that removes 2 bonus effects and inflicts frozen and discord on any foe within 5 rows and columns of her. I'll have what she's having. I didn't know what else to say, sorry. She reminds me of Attuned Tharja and Dual Thor a good bit. The null special part is really cool because it really inflates her bulk by a good amount. Honestly, with the amount of damage reduction she has in her kit, she could probably make for a really funny Omni tank. Not a good one, but a funny one. She gets what, 70 to 80% based damage reduction that can't be pierced with specials, on top of 20% speed based true damage reduction, plus another 9 from the B slot. She's probably surviving more things than her defensive stats lead on. The unit with 30 defense and 28 res is bulkier than a modern day armor. Let that sink in. The button is cool because it's worth Summer Thor. Yeah, I don't know if I really care for the first 2 bonuses condition, but it at least inflicts Frozen 2, and the range is massive, so the button is only so bad. But that's also in tandem with her weapon and B-slot that gives out so much more support on top of that. Sabotage, Null Miracle, bonus reversal, stat swings, and damage reduction piercing is great stuff. She's got a lot of utility overall, but it also feels somewhat Summoner Duel-centric. Half of these things can get messed up by standard Aetherade stuff, or just flat out not work, like Freyr and the Duelist Hindrance, but that really extends to some of the support and the button. Her combat and drive support will work just fine, so if that's not a problem for you, then I'm sure it'll work out. Or you could just continue to Baby Camilla, Spring Plumeria, most defense teams. Why do anything else, am I right? Freya also comes with attack speed area, pulse on blades, and a brand new special in Comet, which is a 5 cooldown special that boosts damage dealt by 200%, creates a special jump of 1 at the start of the turn, and 40% special damage reduction from the foe's first attack, including brave hits. I think it's so funny that they power crept Astra after so long because it rose in usage. It's basically just premium Astra, and it's pretty strong too. In some ways, it feels like a more offensive version of Arc Rival as it trades out guard and depulsing for significantly higher damage scaling. That's how I'm probably going to look at it, at least. The addition of special jumps and damage reduction does make it a pretty worthwhile pickup in my eyes. That said, it's locked to infantry and armors for some reason. I'm not confused on it being locked out from cavalry and flyers, but it being allowed on armors, I guess they don't want somebody like Ford to get it or something. And neither do I. I hate this unit. He pity broke me earlier this year. I gotta wonder how many people go out of their way to get this skill if they already got Arc Rival. Is the damage scaling that worthwhile to people? I don't know, but it's funny, I guess. And other than that, that sure is Freya and Aether. They're pretty good. Yeah, I'm not sure how much mileage you'll get out of them if you don't play Summoner Duels, but there's probably some stuff you could use them for besides that, like arena scoring, and then there's the free stuff, and who doesn't like free stuff? This time around, we have Ranulf, and I'm personally excited for this one. I've been waiting for him to get an alt, and because he's a beast, he's also getting a guaranteed PRF, and it's actually not too bad. He comes with Nocturnal Fang, which is a Slaying Canto remaining beast stone that grants 5 attack and speed, 7 true damage reduction, 7 true damage, and no guard to any ally within 3 rows and columns. He gets a bunch of stats during combat, 20% speed-based true damage and damage reduction, no guard, potent follow, and all the beast cavalry goodies. You could do a whole lot worse for a free-to-play unit. He also comes with Astra, Bestial Agility, and Speed Tactic, and that's fine enough. Bestial Agility isn't too bad as pre-fodder for, all the worthwhile beast fodder, I guess. I don't know. We also got some Sacred Seals in Speed Res Snag and Counter Roar. Both of these aren't too shabby. Speed Res Snag is a nice debuffing seal you could toss into any sort of support unit if you want, and Counter Roar is basically a mini Reflect seal for Dragons and Beasts, which is cool. And overall, the free stuff this time around is pretty good. And there's nothing else to say on it. Okay, bye. And now that we've gone over the brand new Halloween units, I think it's time we rank the banner on the line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day. And would you look at that? The brand new Halloween banner has earned a 5 out of 10. on the line graph, and based on my understanding of the banner, I believe it would be best fit somewhere around this area of the circle graph. Not so much text that it's borderline unreadable, but readable enough to know it's probably not the most enticing banner ever. You'll learn to love the new graph just as much as I do, and you may be wondering to yourself, should I get into the Halloween spirit and waste my money? And that sure is a question I can't give financial advice on, but if you're wondering whether the banner is worth summoning on, then it depends. The Halloween banner overall isn't that bad, but I think it'll depend on what you need personally. Peony, in my opinion, is the best unit on the banner thanks to her Kanto refresh and bonus support. So if you don't have somebody like Spring Plumeria or Legendary Ninian, then it might be worth grabbing. Otherwise, I don't think you'll miss out on too much, but she does give reflex too if you're in need of that. Still, a really great dancer overall. Freya is very Summoner Duels coded, so naturally, most people won't want her. She's going to be a pretty tanky and supportive unit, and she might make for a really good Eikthenir magic save if you're in need of one. Being a mini dual Thor is also pretty decent, albeit inconsistent due to how it prioritizes bonuses, but she's more good than bad at least. The other two units are fine enough, but nothing too impressive in my eyes. That said, Skrimir is a demote, and he's a beast armor, making him a really fantastic arena merge project. I'm not sure if that's incentivizing enough, but he's a decent enough armor still. And overall, the banner isn't bad, but I don't think it's so good that you have to summon on it, especially when the Arena banner and the Fates banner are still here for about 12 more hours. Okay, maybe not these banners. If you didn't summon on the Emblem Corrin and Uma Lin banner, then I would probably prioritize that instead. The ring is fantastic and Lin's style support is very strong. Otherwise, you could just wait for the new Heroes banner before you fully commit to the Halloween banner. There might be more enticing stuff like the new Sharena if you're more interested in that. Or I guess more entwining stuff. But yeah, the banner is pretty decent, but it's probably worth holding out for the time being, TBH. 2BH. To be quite H. Do not fall for the peer pressure. The bouquet is not worth it.